On November 25, 2025, Taiwan's government sent a message of unwavering clarity to Beijing and the world. In a moment watched closely by the international community, Taiwan's leaders made it clear that their stance on sovereignty is not up for negotiation or compromise. Premier Cho Jung-tai firmly rejected Chinese President Xi Jinping's calls for Taiwan's return, declaring such ideas completely detached from reality. He spoke with conviction, stating that the people of Taiwan have chosen their own path and will not be swayed by pressure or intimidation from Beijing. He emphasized that Taiwan is a fully sovereign, independent nation with its own government, military, and foreign policy. Taiwan's institutions operate independently and its leaders are elected by the people, not appointed by any outside power. The island's robust democracy and vibrant civil society are testaments to its autonomy. The idea of reunification, Cho said, is simply not an option for Taiwan's 23 million people. For most Taiwanese, their identity is rooted in their own history, culture, and democratic values, not in the narrative imposed by Beijing. This was a direct rebuttal to Xi's vision of a new world order led by Beijing, and a reminder to the world that Taiwan's sovereignty is a present-day fact. The government's statement resonated far beyond its borders, drawing attention from global leaders and media outlets. Taiwan's government, under President Lai Ching-te, has categorically rejected Beijing's political frameworks, including the one country, two systems model that eroded Hong Kong's freedoms. The painful lessons from Hong Kong's struggle have only strengthened Taiwan's resolve to protect its democracy and autonomy. Across Taiwan's political spectrum there is rare consensus. Living under the Chinese Communist Party is universally rejected. Politicians from all major parties, despite their differences, stand united in defense of Taiwan's self-determination and democratic way of life. Taiwan stands as a beacon of democracy in Asia, determined to defend its way of life against any external threat. Its people remain steadfast, proud of their identity, and committed to a future shaped by their own choices, not by the dictates of others. Since 2024, China has escalated its campaign to intimidate and destabilize Taiwan through military threats, legal warfare, and diplomatic isolation. The People's Liberation Army now maintains a near-constant presence around Taiwan, with frequent air and maritime incursions designed to exhaust and intimidate. Beijing's lawfare includes criminal investigations and threats of prosecution against pro-sovereignty Taiwanese, even sentencing some in absentia. China also pressures countries and organizations to exclude Taiwan from international forums, as seen when Azerbaijan barred Taiwan from a major conference. Each move is part of a broader strategy to break Taiwan's spirit and force capitulation, without firing a shot. Facing China's overwhelming military might, Taiwan stands at the front line of a potential conflict that could reshape the region. The sheer scale of China's armed forces, its vast navy, advanced air force, and growing missile arsenal, poses a daunting challenge for the island's defenders. In response, Taiwan has adopted a porcupine defense strategy, aimed at making any invasion as costly and difficult as possible for an adversary. This approach focuses on maximizing deterrence and survivability rather than seeking direct confrontation. Rather than trying to match China ship for ship or plane for plane, Taiwan invests heavily in asymmetric capabilities, mobile missile systems that can be hidden and moved quickly, domestically produced drones for surveillance and attack, and advanced intelligence networks to detect threats early. In 2025, Taiwan announced the formation of dedicated drone brigades, signaling a major leap in its ability to monitor and respond to threats from the air and sea. The government also launched a major upgrade to its Coast Guard, commissioning new high-speed vessels and introducing AI-assisted command centers to improve coordination and rapid response to maritime incidents. These measures are designed to counter not only direct military threats, but also more subtle forms of pressure and infiltration. China's gray zone tactics, such as deploying fishing fleets and Coast Guard ships to test Taiwan's resolve, are met with constant vigilance and firm responses at sea. But Taiwan's challenges are not limited to external threats. The island also faces internal risks, including espionage and infiltration by hostile actors. In 2025, a retired general was convicted of spying for China, a stark reminder of the ongoing need for robust internal security and counterintelligence efforts. Today, Taiwan's defense posture is defined by agility, resilience, and the ability to adapt quickly to new forms of warfare, whether in the city, on the coast, or at sea. The island's defenders remain vigilant, on land, at sea, and within their own ranks, ready to respond to any threat at any hour. Through innovation, determination, and unity, Taiwan is committed to making any act of aggression a costly and uncertain gamble for Beijing. The Taiwan-China conflict is also a battle over history. Beijing claims Taiwan has always been part of China, promoting Taiwan Restoration Day to reinforce this narrative. Taiwan counters that the ROC, not the PRC, accepted Japan's surrender in 1945, and the PRC has never ruled Taiwan. China's claim rests on the idea that the PRC inherited the ROC's territory in 1949, but Taiwan remains a separate, self-governing entity. For Beijing, this narrative justifies its claim. For Taiwan, it's the foundation of its identity and right to exist. The clash over history is fundamental, shaping both sides' legitimacy and the future of the region. For Taiwan, the past is inseparable from its fight for a democratic future. Rising tensions in the Taiwan Strait have drawn global attention, especially from the US and Japan. The world is watching closely as military maneuvers and diplomatic statements escalate, raising concerns about the stability of the entire Asia-Pacific region. The situation has become a focal point for international security discussions, with many nations reassessing their own policies and alliances in response to the growing uncertainty. The US maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, officially recognizing Beijing's One China policy, while simultaneously providing Taiwan with defensive support under the Taiwan Relations Act. This careful balancing act is designed to deter both a unilateral declaration of independence by Taiwan and any attempt by China to use force. The US continues to walk a diplomatic tightrope, signaling its commitment to peace and stability in the region. Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently reaffirmed that the US would not abandon Taiwan for a trade deal with China. His statement underscored the enduring nature of American support, even as economic ties with Beijing remain significant. This message was intended to reassure both allies and adversaries that the US stands firm in its commitments. Despite occasional mixed signals from different administrations, there is a strong bipartisan consensus in Washington supporting Taiwan's defense. Regular arms sales, high-profile visits by lawmakers, and frequent naval transits through the Taiwan Strait serve as tangible proof of this commitment. These actions send a clear message to Beijing and the international community about the seriousness of US intentions. Japan, once cautious, has become increasingly vocal about the risks posed by a potential conflict. Japanese leaders have warned that a Chinese attack on Taiwan could trigger a military response, marking a significant shift from their traditionally reserved stance. This evolution reflects Japan's growing concern for regional security and its own national interests. Together, the US and Japan form the backbone of international deterrence in the region. Their close cooperation, including joint military exercises and intelligence sharing, strengthens their ability to respond to any crisis. Meanwhile, many other nations remain cautious, wary of directly challenging Beijing, but quietly increasing their engagement with Taiwan. The support of these allies not only provides Taiwan with much-needed material aid, such as military equipment and humanitarian assistance, but also reinforces its legitimacy and standing on the world stage. Diplomatic visits and public statements of solidarity help counter Beijing's efforts to isolate Taiwan internationally. For Taiwan, this international backing is vital in resisting Beijing's pressure. It boosts morale among its citizens and strengthens its resolve to maintain its democratic way of life, even as the threat of conflict looms ever larger. For Taiwan's 23 million people, sovereignty is the foundation of their democracy and identity. It means the freedom to elect leaders, speak openly, and enjoy a free press, rights earned through decades of struggle. The contrast with life under Beijing's rule is stark, as seen in Hong Kong's loss of autonomy and freedoms. Public opinion in Taiwan overwhelmingly rejects unification, with most identifying as Taiwanese, not Chinese. China's coercion has only strengthened Taiwan's resolve to defend its de facto independence. For the Taiwanese, sovereignty is the right to determine their own future, a choice between democracy and authoritarianism. Their answer is clear and non-negotiable. The Taiwan dispute is a global flashpoint with profound consequences. For Taiwan, the stakes are existential: freedom, democracy, and identity. For the world, a Chinese takeover would threaten Indo-Pacific stability, give Beijing control over vital technology, and set a dangerous precedent. The risk of major war is real, with US and Japanese commitments raising the stakes for all. Disruption in the Taiwan Strait would send shockwaves through global trade and supply chains. The world has a vested interest in peaceful resolution. Taiwan's stand is a test of international order and democratic values. The outcome will shape the future balance of power and the fate of democracy worldwide.